Deja vu. The Bengals drop another game. Now they're 0-2 on the season. And for the next week, Elise, it's going to be, remember how they started 0-2 last year? Can they draw from that? That's going to be the storyline. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien alongside Elise Jesse. Welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk here at Paycor Stadium, where the Bengals drop game number 2, 27-24 to the Baltimore Ravens. And honestly, we're going to get to Joe Burrow in like 2.1 seconds. My biggest takeaway was how awesome Lamar Jackson looked.
Yeah.
I think he looked like MVP Lamar today.
I think so too. And the Bengals defense had a lot of trouble stopping him, honestly. And total as a whole, Baltimore offensively had 415 total yards. That's insane.
Yeah.
Their defense could not stop them as well as they anticipated. They talked about Lamar Jackson all week, how he's extremely mobile, how he can burn you in with the pass and with the run, and they just weren't able to sustain that today.
Yeah, and Lamar's legs, he got the deciding first down, or one of the deciding first downs to extend the drive, and then they ran the ball on the final one in the final minute. But let's get to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got injured on the second to last play right over here. I always like the show as people are playing right before he threw, second to last offensive play, right before he threw the touchdown to T. Higgins. And the thing that I took away, and we posted clips of Joe Burrow here. Let me turn this because now you're out of the frame. We posted clips of Joe Burrow, and to me, the unknown of his calf was what was concerning. We've seen him confident in 0-2, confident after ugly losses, divisional losses. He was confident last year after they fell to 0-2 in the division and 2-3 on the year after losing to Baltimore in Baltimore. And yet, to me, I think there is a big unknown, and he can't be confident in something he just doesn't know, and the unknown is that calf injury.
Yeah, that's why this 0-2 this season feels so much different than 0-2 last season. And I think that the players are recognizing that. I noticed that special teams coordinator Darren Simmons went up to Joe Burrow and checked in on him, and Joe's kind of explaining, we'll see how it feels. We'll see how I am. He doesn't have answers to give anybody, it sounds like. And that can be really frustrating for a quarterback. They talked about his calf injury and how calf injuries can have a tendency to linger. That could be something that he's going to deal with all season, but we don't know for sure yet.
Yeah, that's the wild card in this. The wild card in this entire argument, because what you could say if you wanted to go glass half full is, the Bengals offense figured it out in the second half, and they moved the ball up and down the field. And outside of the interception, they clearly kicked into gear, and that worked. And if the offense worked in the second half, the defense left something to be desired, but the offense was the question coming into today. And yet, now we have a question on this offense, even if everything's right. One, Joe Burrow, how is he? Two, they still did seem a bit out of rhythm. And I go to the first drive of the game. A holding call sets them back, and they brought that up. But Irv Smith Jr. unable to get 2 feet down. Quick 3 and out after Lamar Jackson goes 8 minutes down the field.
Right, yes.
That's why it was the perfect storm today. It's not like the Ravens offense had Snoop Huntley in at quarterback. It was Lamar Jackson, and whether it was Lamar, Nelson Aguilar, perfect ball to him. Odell had a few catches early on. Obviously, we saw the rookie out of Boston College, Zay Flowers, have a really nice catch behind us, actually, the 60-yarder. So this Ravens offense is better than I think, not that the Bengals anticipated, but than some gave them credit for. And when the Bengals offense can't get off the field, then you look at a game like this, and one turnover could be the difference.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that Lamar Jackson, I think, is so good at is controlling the ball, controlling the tempo, controlling the clock. They had, 70 plays? The Bengals only had 63 total yards of offense by the halftime. I mean, it was not a game that I think that they're really proud of. You can tell that they were peeved after this one, because I don't know how Cleveland was, how that locker room was. You were in there, so I'm guessing it was probably quiet, but guys seemed pissed off today.
They were, and multiple guys, stars, deciding not to talk, saying they'll talk later. And I think there's frustration. And you were probably in the news conference room waiting on Zach. Someone was really frustrated, and something crashed. And I don't know who it was. I didn't see it. The point is this team is angry, and pissed is a good word to describe it. And these guys, it's not like it was kumbaya. Now, I don't think they're panicking, but I think they're frustrated. I think the frustration level's at a pretty high level. They know the significance of it. And to me, at least 1,000-foot view, the defense lost their job today. their goals at least. The offense started slow enough to where you'd probably give the Ravens defense the edge in the battle with them. Special teams is like the one bright spot-ish.
Yeah.
And obviously you have the Charlie Jones punt return for a touchdown, first one since 2012. But outside of that, like when you have multiple units losing, usually you lose. And that's kind of how it felt today.
They also lost the turnover battle, which Zach talked about as well. And I asked Tyler Boyd after the game, you've been in this hole before. He's like, oh, we've been in this hole before. We'll climb out of it. And I'm like, well, then what's the most important part of climbing out of a hole like this? And he said, we have to stay together. We can't let this locker room get torn apart. So that's something that unprovoked he brought up, which I thought was interesting. They do have 15 games left. And when you look at the back half of their schedule, it's worrisome. If they continue to lose, if they cannot beat the Rams on Monday Night Football, they go in 0-2. If they continue down this stretch of losing multiple games, they're going to be in a real heap of trouble come second half of the season after week 8.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll see more on Burrow's calf. That's kind of the cloud that's lingering over Paycor Stadium right now, even though the sun's coming through a little bit. So maybe there's some hope, but that's the thing that's going to determine a lot. The good news is you mentioned Monday Night Football. That's an extra day. An extra day for Joe to get treatment, an extra day for Joe to breathe, an extra day for this team to reset a bit. And they probably do need to reset because I don't think anybody had them 0-2. Maybe starting slow, but even if you had them starting slow, bouncing back today against the Ravens is something I think a lot of people, I mean, it's not like they were great last week against Houston. They got off to a slow start, and I'm talking about the Ravens. Yeah. And so I think it was like, oh, well, the Bengals could bounce back. And I thought they would, and they didn't. And everyone can look in the mirror because Burrow wasn't great, Jamar wasn't great, T was really darn good, so maybe you could say that bounce back wise. Charlie Jones was good. Like there's outliers, but the defense, you kick the ball back with 3:28 left, you need to get off the field, and they gave up 2 first downs, and that's your ball game.
Yeah. The fact that they lost this game knowing that the Baltimore Ravens had so many key injuries to their offensive line, to their defense. I mean, Baltimore came in undermanned, and we were all aware of that. So you really expected the Cincinnati Bengals to be able to come out and embarrass the Ravens, to be quite honest with you, and that's not what happened here today. And I think they have a lot to think about. I think they have a lot of tape to review, and hopefully they take that extra day to reset, as you said, because you cannot go into Tennessee 0-3.
No, because that's a tough place to play, and must win Monday night.
Must win.
Print the shirts.
Talking about must wins at week 3.
Yeah, but that's how it is when you start 0-2, and we've done this before from last year. It's the same thing. So we'll see if they respond. Make sure you check out from Joe Burrow to Zach Taylor to Charlie Jones to Tyler Boyd. Elise chatted with him one-on-one. We have a ton for you right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talking. A ton coming your way this week as well. Thanks for bearing with me, even though my voice is like at 50%. For Elise, Jesse, I'm James Rapien. Bengals go down 27-24 here in week 2. We'll have you covered moving forward. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.